Okay, so what have we learned so far? Oh, come on now. Where's the enthusiasm? What have we learned so far?
Lots of info.
Okay, wonderful over here. Let me tell you, what is your biggest obstacle when it comes to generating cash? Who knows what it is? Yourself. But here's the thing, right? Are there any investors in the room? Raise your hands. Any investors? Okay. Now, with all due respect, can I be absolutely brutally blunt and honest today? Is that okay? Yes?
Yeah.
Now, would you like me to sugarcoat things and tell you things that you really want to hear? No. Or things that you truly need to know right now? Who follows? Okay. Here's the thing. In all my years, I've been a leading investor now for over 25 years, and I meet very few true investors. There's over 7.4 million adult Australians who claim to be investors, but the vast majority are not investors. They are speculators, okay? And today, this following presentation, I'm going to prove it to you that the majority of individuals are not truly investors. And I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do is to change the paradigm shift in relation to cash flow. Now, me personally speaking, I love property. I love the stock market. I love financial entrepreneurial businesses around the world. I love business in general. For me, it's just going to make sense. It's got to stack up. And it's going to be what? My approach is, it's going to be simple to what? To transact. How are we going so far? Yes? So I'm going to show you step by step. Plus also as a bonus today, I'm going to map out the next 5 to 10 years of your life. What's going to happen economically speaking. Is that of any interest, right? I'm going to give you actual years when things are going to happen. Why? Because I've made a lot of prediction calls in the last 10, 15 years, and I've been spot on each time. Now I'm going to show you something today which will blow your mind, which has never been done, and I want you to just really immerse yourself, internalize what I'm about to say, because it's that vitally important. So for those who have never, ever heard me speak before, raise your hands. Where have you been? Where's the love in the room? Okay, for those who have never seen me speak. Why should you be listening to me today? Well, you're more than welcome to Google my name. I'm probably the only individual on the stage who will actually say to you and actually encourage you to do so. The reason being is my integrity, my reputation is absolutely sacred to me, and I'll never do anything to jeopardize that, okay? I've appeared live on numerous television appearances around the world. There's been a lot of print media in relation to who I am, what I've done, what I'm currently doing, newspaper, magazines, all around the world. I am a Melburnian. I live overseas. I live in Los Angeles. But it's been a lot of press. In fact, I just came back from a big intercontinental tour right across Asia and what have you. There's been a lot of press in relation to what I'm about to share with you right now. And probably the biggest thing is this. There is something right now, which is one of the biggest buzzwords right now on the web, is the Nick theory. The Nick theory is basically the session that I'm going to actually immerse today. And the Nick theory is all about this. There's a certain process in relation to laying the framework of having different income streams. And I'll get you to write this down. You need a minimum of 5 income streams the next 12 months, okay? 5 income streams, write that down. That's really important as we progress through this. So 5 income streams in the next 12 months, 5, okay? This is really important. 5 income streams. Okay, so I speak on the biggest stages around the world. You think they're kind of happy, yes? Well, they discovered the Nick theory too, okay? Now, I'm going to give you 90 minutes of the Nick theory, and once you understand it, once you lock in it, I truly believe it is something you can adopt and embrace for the rest of your what? Your economic, I won't say working because I don't want you to be working, okay? Your most productive lives, okay? So let's continue over here. The Nick theory is all about this. It's about laying the foundation and developing multiple streams of income, but also knowing which income streams, okay? Now look, I gather them. Who works in a job? Just a show of hands. Okay, wonderful. Okay, you work in a job. Now, who is currently self-employed? Okay, wonderful. And who has actually got passive income and totally independent from their current vocation? Raise your hands. Okay, so some of you right now. Okay, wonderful. When it comes to investing, obviously you do due diligence in a lot of your own financial circumstances. Make sure at all times that you stack the odds in your favour, okay? And look, I've been a professional investor for over 25 years. So here's the thing. With your permission, 95% of the working adult population in Australia has financial cancer. Now understand this. Cancer, as a physical disease, we've all got a degree of cancer, okay? It's only when our immune system is ravaged by what? All the free radicals, that what happens? Our cancerous cells, what? They mutate and become what? Malignant. Who follows so far, right? We've all got a degree of financial cancer in us, which is about to be exploited. Now understand this. If you get paid weekly, you're 1 week from being bankrupt. If you're getting paid monthly, you're 1 month from being bankrupt. Now here's the thing. 95% of Australians have financial cancer. And I will prove it to you right now. Now check this. Listen carefully here. When you invest in property, when you buy property, what are you reliant on? You're reliant on a property to do what? To go up, okay? So you're reliant on a property to do what? Go up, okay? Now, when you traditionally invest in the stock market, you're buying shares with the hope the share price does what? Goes up. Who follows? Okay? So you're reliant on the share market to go up. So share market, property. Okay. Now, if you're currently working in a job, basically what you are doing is you're maximizing somebody else's return whilst they do what? They minimize yours. Who follows? Yes? In other words, you're working hard enough for work so you don't get sacked and your employer's going to pay you just enough so you don't quit. Who can relate to that? Show of hands. Say yes.
Yes.
Okay, listen carefully over here. So in other words, you are reliant on your employer, so your employer at the end of the week can afford to keep you on. Who follows? So what is your employer reliant on? He's reliant on the Australian economy to be doing what? To be going which way? Up. Okay. So your employer is reliant on the same direction too. You, because you're reliant on the employer, you're reliant on the economy to be doing what? To go up so they can afford to pay you at the end of the week, okay? So that's employer, and that is a job. Okay, who sees the problem there? Once again, who sees the problem there? Okay, in other words, this. We've all been conditioned, that brain fog, that brain stimulus, that degree of financial astigmatism, that financial embezzlement, where we're reliant on one single direction to what? To make money. Who follows? Now here's the thing. Humanity, as we know it, has 3 human traits. There are 3 human traits of human emotion. What are they? Greed, which sends something going up. We have what? Fear. And we have what? Indecision. Who follows, right? We have greed, fear, and, work with me folks, greed, fear, and indecision, okay? There's only 3 human emotions. And those human emotions will never ever change, right? Because human emotion is what? It's predictable, and it happens over and over and over again. We all understand that? Now here's the thing. What do I say is financial cancer? Because here's the thing. The market can do 3 things. When I say the market, I'm referring to property, the economy, employment, unemployment, stock market, whatever. It can do 3 things, okay? It can do any of these factors over here. So my point is this. We've been programmed to have one single source of what? Income. See, the system has created this. Now, one thing about me, look, and with all due respect to any academic teachers in the room, okay? I am anti-academia, okay? I am anti-academia because academia will do one thing and only. It'll do what? Train you and equip you to get a what? To only have the skill set of having a job. I am pro-education. You see, I would rather you learn how to speak, read and write and then go out there and find specialised knowledge. Who agrees, yes? That is an education. Now, the reality is this. We've all been programmed to have one single source of income. And on top of that, a lot of us only have that one single source of income. And on top of that, we have 100% reliance on that same single source of income. Who follows? Okay? And on top of that, that income is 100% what? Active. Active meaning what? That you have to physically report to a workstation, a cubicle, or a factory floor in order to what? Physically trade time for money. Who sees where I'm going with this? So we've all been conditioned to have one single source of income, 100% reliance on that same single source, and 100% is what? Active. Meaning, every 3-4 months, they'll reward you and you can go on what now? Vacation. Who follows? Write this down. The concept of vacation is now an obsolete theory, and I'll prove it to you right now. Because vacation means this. You go on holidays after working 4 months of your life, 2 weeks, and then you're forced to go back to work. Why? Because you need the money. Who follows now? See, I would rather teach you where you have an experience, that paycation model. Who knows what paycation is? When you go on vacation, but you're earning more money. Who follows what I just said? So no such thing as the word vacation. It's now what? It's paycation. Who sees where I'm going with this, right? Now, listen very carefully over here. So we've got a problem over here. We're reliant on upward moving directions only. One single source of income. 100% of their reliance on that, and it's all what? Active. And very few of us have passive type investments, okay? Very few of us. Now, here's the reality, and this is what confronts everyday Australians. This is financial cancer, folks. First up, we take our existing income, and then with after-tax dollars, what do you think we do? We fund and we service and we spend it on our what? On our lifestyle over here, okay? Now write this down. Everything in your lifestyle is guaranteed to lose you money, okay? Everything in your lifestyle is guaranteed to lose you money. Everything. You name it, one thing in your lifestyle is going to make you money. The way your life has been shaped and designed and sculptured by the system, basically, we went to school. A factory assembly plant for the sole purpose of producing taxpayers. During your working life, what do? You service the system. True? It's only when you retire you do what? You become a drain on a system. Okay? So we've all done this. We make some income and we spend it on our lifestyle. Now here's the thing. Usually there is more month left after when the money runs out. Who follows? And then what do? We dip into our credit cards. We max out one credit card and we use a second credit card to pay the interest component on the first credit card. Who can relate to that? Show of hands. And only when we've maxed out 2 or 3 credit cards, we go out there and get a personal loan. Who follows now? To pay off the credit cards. And only to repeat the same thing over and over again. And then when you've got 3 credit cards maxed out, you've got a personal loan. Now you take a line of credit on your property to do what? To do a consolidation loan. Who follows? Here's the thing. We're working more hours and hours and hours. We're earning less. We've only got one single source, 100% reliance, active. We're basically we're servicing the system, and then we find ourselves in that case of what? Financial cancer, okay? Now here's the thing. I want to introduce you to a concept over 25 years in the making. This is what I call my wealth matrix. These have all been trademarked. Now the wealth matrix consists of 4 components. Have a look at this. We have income, we have growth, we have momentum, and we have what? Lifestyle. Folks, work with me, right? We have income, growth, momentum, and lifestyle. Now, to understand money, okay? To understand money, to understand cash flow, money has 2 human emotions. There is emotionally connected money and emotionally disconnected money. Write that down. There is emotionally connected money and emotionally disconnected money, okay? So here's how it works. Between income and growth, this is emotionally connected money. Emotionally connected means this, that it's your hard-earned blood, sweat, and tears. Who follows, right? In other words, you've worked your ass off for that money. True? So should you be conservative or aggressive? Once again, let me ask you. If that's your hard-earned blood, sweat, and tears, should you be conservative or aggressive? Conservative. Okay. You should be conservative. Next, you use the money generated from your conservative type investments and you use that to invest in more aggressive strategies. Who follows what I just said? Where every person goes wrong is they go straight to what? Aggressive, high yield, which carries more risk. Who follows? And I'll give you an example of aggressive. Forex. Who follows? Because you're speculating, because you have no idea what you're going to make up front. Who follows what I just said? The idea is you need conservative type investments, then use that money to invest in what? The more speculative, high-end stuff. Who follows what I just said? And I see way too many Australians are losing a lot of cash. Listen very carefully here. So we want to do this. From income to growth, that is emotionally connected money, yes? Now, the money generated in your growth type investments, that is the money you will use to do what? To fund and service and invest in what? Momentum type strategies. Who follows so far? Next, now here's the kicker. Listen to this carefully here. It's the money generated in momentum that's going to fund and fuel and service your... Here's the thing. This is where every Australian goes wrong. They use their income to service a lifestyle. You never use your income to service your lifestyle. Because everything in your lifestyle does what? It loses your money. You only use money generated in what? Your momentum component to totally fund and service your lifestyle. Folks, that is $1 million PowerPoint slide that I've just shared with you right there. Listen very carefully to what I just said. emotionally connected between 1 and 2, between 2 and 3 is emotionally disconnected, and then use the money generated in these type investments in here, in momentum, to fund and fuel and service your lifestyle. And in your lifestyle, you can get as crazy as you want. If you want like a $2 million Bugatti Veyron or a 458 Ferrari Italia, go for it. But you never use your income. Now, when I invest, listen to this. If it's a liability, what's a liability? Everything in your lifestyle is a liability. In other words, if it's a lifestyle choice, I always pay what? 100% cash. Who follows? If it's going to lose your money, 100% cash every time. If it's an asset, what I do is 20% down and I'll borrow 80%. Who follows? Because I'm generating more income than what the mortgage repayment is. Who follows? The loan repayment. Who sees where I'm going with this? Folks, I'm giving you a Money 101 manifesto that will be relevant for the rest of your life. And I can guarantee you this, by the end of this presentation, you will have wished to have known this when you're 18 years of age. Why? Because if you're 18 and you listen to this entire presentation, chances are you would have been a multi-millionaire and you will not be here right now. It's a Sunday, it's over 30 degrees out there. Why are you here? Listen carefully here, folks. Understand there is a relationship to money in relation to the human emotions, okay? Emotionally connected and emotionally disconnected over here. Now, what we need to do now is this. We need to focus on growth. Without growth, you don't have momentum. Without momentum, you have nothing to fuel and service your lifestyle. So what we need to do now is this. We need to embed different strategies, different investment classes in the growth component of the wealth matrix. Now, having said that, to make it really easy for you, I'm going to give you my 5-point criteria that I've used for a long period of my investment life. I'm going to give you the 5-point criteria, and I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to encourage all of you to take a photo of it. Who will like to take a photo of it? Yes? Yes? Who's got an iPhone? Okay, it's complimentary for an iPhone taking a photo. Who's got a Samsung? $5. Okay, so here it is. This is the 5-point criteria for the growth part of the wealth matrix. Are you ready for it? First up, folks, when it comes to any form of investing or any form of strategy to do with money, if you do not know the return on investment upfront day one, what are you doing? You are speculating. Why? Because how many Australians do this? They put the money into something with the hope or wish that something will go up in the future. Who follows what I just said? What I'm saying is this. If you have no idea what the return on investment is upfront day one, then you are purely what? Speculating and gambling. When people go and buy property out there, what are they doing? They're buying property with the hope it'll do what? Interesting, isn't it? That's speculation. You know what drives me crazy? This country honours speculation and gambling. The first Tuesday in November, what do they do? They even have a public holiday to give you time to speculate. Who follows? Yes? It's called what? Melbourne Cup Day. 3 million Australians in one day lost money. Which money? Their income. That's fine, you can gamble. If you want to be insane, go for it. But never use your income. Use money generated from what? Momentum. Who follows what I just said? You never use your income. And this country honours you and gives you time to go out there and speculate and be insane. You must know your ROI up front. If you don't, run. The days of speculation are long gone. And I'm going to prove it to you very, very shortly over here. Number 2, you must know your what? Your risk profile. What is your worst case scenario? What is your worst case scenario? Remember, work on your risk and then work backwards to what? Profit. Next over here. Number 3, it's got to be what? Listen carefully. It's got to be recession proof. Do you recall the 95% of Australians who are dead broke? Yes? They are reliant on what in order to make money? One single direction. Yes? Is that recession proof? From now on, there are 2 economies. There is the Australian economy, and what I'm about to teach you is your own economy. Meaning, I'm going to provide that inoculation, that shot in the arm. I'm going to vaccinate you. So now, you'll have the opportunity and the privilege to develop your own what? Your own personal economy. There are 2 economies. The one where everybody else outside of this room are being governed and dictated to by, and your economy. Your economy means this, that you now become what? Potentially what? Recession proof. Who follows, right? That's how you become insulated. Listen carefully here. Number 4, you must have what? Control. Control of your investments over here. And number 5, mobility. Who's got one of these? What's this called? It's called a what? A what type of phone? A smartphone, yes? If you don't have a smartphone, who has a dumb phone? Yeah? Can you operate and monitor your business from one of these devices? Who follows? If you can do it on one of these, it means you can do what? You can travel. Now, show of hands. Who loves to travel?
Me.
Who loves to travel? Raise your hands. What is stopping you from traveling far more often? I'll tell you. 2 things, right? Money and what? Time. True? Isn't it amazing how it's always money and time? Why? Because that's how the system works. And having a job and one single source of income will guarantee that response to that question. Who follows? This is what I mean. When you're recession-proof and you can operate your income source from anywhere in the world, you now become what? You become recession-proof and financially liberated over here. Okay? So that's what we've got. Income, we've got growth, we've got momentum, and we have lifestyle over here. So what we need to do now is do what? We need to look at different strategies that we can implement in the growth part of the wealth matrix. So folks, if you haven't got a photograph, take it right now. That's 1 to 5 right now. If you're going to post it on Facebook, make sure you mention my name. Nikhalik. Where's the love in the room for this wealth matrix, yes? Give it a few more seconds. 10, 9. And if you haven't guessed, I am anti-speculation. All I want to teach you is this. I want to take your income, whatever you generate right now, whether it's your own business or whether you're working for somebody else, and I want to show you the paycation model, but also show you strategies which are truly investment. Because investing with the hype and wish, that is not investing, that is what? Speculation. And every person who pretty much buys property, are they speculating or are they investing? Because they've got no idea what that property is going to be valued in the future. And listen to this. Here's the crazy thing, right? I'm going to show you something here. In 2008, something happened around the world. Yes? What was it called? It was called a what? Wrong. It was not called a GFC. It was a global educational crisis, right? See, this was the cause. The financial crisis was the effect. Who follows what I just said? Listen carefully. Those who were not switched on, those who do not understand the wealth matrix, those who were not savvy and sophisticated investors are the ones who got what? Caught out. Who follows? It was a global educational crisis because money in 2008, there was just a transfer. Money just did not burn up and evaporate. There was a great transfer of wealth from the uneducated to the what? To the educated. Who follows where I'm going with this? It was a global educational crisis. Now, on top of this, in 2007, the baby boomers of the world, the baby boomers are those born between 1946 and 64. Who follows? Yes? Now, these baby boomers have all but retired. They were the biggest organic driving demographic who have driven property, stock market business in Australia for the last 50 years. It follows. They have all but retired in 2007, meaning in the past we had what we call an organic economy. There is no longer an organic economy in Australia. What we have right now is this. We have a marinated economy. In other words, they fudge the books. They cook the books. They've got to spice it all up, and I'll prove it to you right now. Look, the baby boomers, the biggest demographic in the world over here. What is the replacement demographic? Generation what? X. Generation Y is still sucking on Chupa Chups. Listen to me right now, okay? Listen carefully. Generation X, there's less taxpayers now, and there's more what? Elderly. Who follows what I just said? Now, marinated economy. Now I'm going to show you some important things over here. What year did the baby boomers peak? In 2007. This is the big picture. Listen to this. I'm going to go back about 40 years, okay? I'm going to take you the last 40 years of recessions, okay? Let's talk about this. 1974 to 1977, okay? 1982 to 1985. 1990 to 1994. The year 2000, the year 2002. The year 2008 The year 2011. These were the last recessions just in the last what? 4 decades, okay? Listen carefully over here. Now, these figures over here, 2011, 2002, 1994, 1985 over here, and 1977, that was the lowest point of the economy, okay? Now these figures over here, on the left-hand side, these were what? The high point. So in other words, this was the peak of the market, the boom, and this was what? The lowest point, okay? The lowest point. Now these figures are very, very important. I'm going to come back to this now. I'm going to show you something here. Now I'm going to draw something, okay? What is this? It's a really badly drawn circle, yes? But work with me over here. In fact, that's really embarrassing. Let me start that one again. Okay. Thank you very much. Now, let's go one step further over here. You ready for it? Okay. 12, 6, this is what? 9. If 12 over here is absolute boom. Now, boom is what? High prices, yes? This is boom over here. And this over here is what? Bust. I like to call this one over here economic what? Summer. Economic summer. And this one over here, economic what? Winter. Okay? Now think of the seasons, okay? Winter over here, when things go to shit, all the leaves are gone. Over here, what? Full blossoming, okay? Now, economic boom, economic what? Winter over here. Now, let's just go back the last decade over here. Do you recall? Do you recall the previous figure over here? We had what? 2008, 2011, okay? I'm going to use that first up because we can all relate to that, okay? 2008 and 2011. In other words, 2008 was the top of the boom in Australia, okay? The lowest point was what? 2011. Who follows, okay? Now, 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10, 11 over here. Right now in Australia, where are we? That's economic boom, economic bust over here. Where are we right now in Australia? I tell you where we are. We are right now at 7:15 over here. Listen carefully here. Now, a couple of things are happening right now. Wait for this. It's going to happen like clockwork. Why? Because human emotion is what? It's predictable. Who follows what I just said? Human emotion, there is nothing new. The same thing repeats itself over and over again. This is what's about to happen now. Between 8 and 12 over here, this is called what? Remember the 3 human emotions? What are they? Greed, fear, and? Between 8 and 12, we have what? We have greed. Between 12 and 6, we have what? We have what? Fear. And then between 6 and 8, what do we have? Indecision. Okay. Who's finding this very interesting so far, yeah? Listen carefully here. We're 7:15. This is what's happening. It's already happening. The banks are out there. They're doing what? They're going to lower the interest rates once again. Why? Because they want to encourage and do what? Stimulate what? Building activity, the economy over here. In other words, they're cooking the books, yes? Remember, the baby boomers are out of the picture now. So they've got to cook the books, they've got to marinate it just to get us straight back to what? Borrowing. Now listen to this. In order to understand how this is going to work and how it's going to affect you, you need to understand how banks work. Banks, what do banks do? They loan out what? No! Banks loan out imaginary digital money that does not exist. That's what they do. It doesn't exist. The banks don't have any money. The banks do what? They just create it and plug it out of thin air and rape and pillage and charge you interest, yes? Listen to this. How do banks make money between 8 and 12? They charge you what? Exorbitant interest, yes? So is it in the bank's interest to make sure that you do what now? Start to borrow and borrow and borrow. This is how they marinate it. And this is what happens. At 8 o'clock over here, everyone starts the buying frenzy, the piranha frenzy, until eventually 12 o'clock, they raise the interest rates. Why? Because now they want to take the heat out of the marketplace. They want to cool down the economy. Too many people have borrowed. And now 12 o'clock, they have no confidence in your ability to service the debt you just absorbed. Who follows what I just said? Listen carefully here. And then between 12 and 6, what do we have now? High prices, the peak of the prices, people have overpaid, and then you have what? Decline. Who follows? And this is what Australians do. What even they buy property at 11 o'clock. And by then, property prices are around the highest points. Listen to this. Who understands about auctions and clearance rates? Anybody? Yes? Between 6 and 7 over here, auction clearance rates are between 50 and 55%. Between 11 and 12 o'clock, auction clearance rates are over 90%. Who thinks that's important to know? The economy now is flush, it's lubricated, and people are what? Borrowing and prepared to pay higher and higher and higher prices. And what every other Australians are doing is they're buying up here. And what happens now? They're going to hope and wish the property does what? Goes up, but then we have what? 3 years of decline. Who follows what I just said? And during decline, what happens? Chances are they're also going to lose their job too. Who sees a problem? You've got one single source of income, 100% reliance on that same single source of income. It's all active, and chances are you're going to lose it. This happens over and over again. So this is where we're heading. Once again, this is my opinion. Around 11 o'clock over here, we've got 2016, 2017. And when it comes to the next pick over here, and if you examine these figures carefully, do you recall the one I did previously here? Have a look at this. A full cycle was this, back to this. Between 74 and 82, what was that? 8 years, yes? Between 82 and 1990, how many years? 8. Between 1990 and 2000, how many years apart? 10. Between 2000 and 2008, how many years apart? Who sees the pattern? Every 8 to 11 years is a full what? Full cycle. Now check this out. The decline is on average 3 years. The decline is in average 3 years. So now we're approaching 2016, 2017. It's going to drop for about 3 years. And then guess what? It's going to come back to where we are right now. Who follows this? Folks, this has not changed in decades. And here's the thing. If you're an investor, see, look, anybody can make money. Anybody can generate income. It's how you can multiply that income by investing wisely and keeping it. Who follows it? Who thinks that's more important? Okay? The last thing I will teach you right now on this stage is speculation. I want you to be savvy, sophisticated, and you know what? Are there any parents in the room? Any parents? Raise your hands. You are accountable for whom? Your children. Because if you lose your job, what happens to them? So what I'm saying is, let's smart up our act. Do not be enticed by the speculation. You want to be an investor, okay? Otherwise, there's a TAB near your home right now, okay? Now, what we've got is this. So if we understand that, we know that right now, property is going to do what? It's going to pick up now because they're going to marinate it to ensure. And one thing I never pointed out before is this. Between 8 and 12, the banks make money by doing what? Loaning out money, yes? Hundreds, if not millions of dollars. How do the banks make money between 12 and 6? Credit cards. Because now you need your credit cards to top up your what? Your mortgage repayments. Because now you may have lost your job or you have no tenant. Who follows what I just said? See, either way, you're being raped and pillaged, yes? But what I'm saying is, the way I invest is this. If it's a liability, it's going to lose your money, I pay what? 100% cash. If it's an investment or an asset, what do? I use the bank's money because the bank's going to charge me what? 7%, for example? But I can go out there and potentially generate 20 or 30%. Who sees an opportunity? Okay, listen carefully here. So that is that. Folks, I've got my book over here. I have 20 copies and the back right now, the back of the room right now. Who would like the first 20 copies? Go for it. Do not kill yourselves. Do not kill yourselves, folks, please. If you read that book, chances are within 6 months, you'll be not working in a job. Why? That's normally what happens. But on top of that, who's got the book? Raise your hands. Woo! Would you like to make money on this book straight away?
Yes.
Get me to sign it afterwards. Come with me at the back there, and I'll add 30% to the valuation of what? Because my signature fetches 30% more on eBay. Who follows? Yes? True. One of my businesses is what? Autographing what? Memorabilia, photos, and products. Who follows what I just said? If you understand who I am in the first place. Once again, that's 30% what? Intrinsic value, okay? So come and see me at the very end over here. Now, let me continue here. Okay, so cash flow. Where Australians also go wrong is this. Remember that before? They've got how many sources of income do they have? They got 1, yes? Is it active or passive? Active, okay? On top of that, how much reliance on that one single source of income do they have? 100%. And on top of that, they have very little what? Cash flow. Why? Because when they go out there to speculate, even though they're thinking they're investing, they're what? They're speculating. What do you think they do? Are they speculating to make cash, or are they speculating and they get caught up with what? Too much capital growth. Who follows? When you buy property, for example, where's the cash flow? Listen to me carefully, okay? Where's the cash flow? How many Australians are asset rich but have no cash flow? Raise your hands. You know how that happens? One single source of income, it's active, 100% of that is what? On that, reliance on that. And on top of that, when they spend their money, when they're supposedly investing, they're buying property. Look, I love property. But the thing is, 100% of the strategy for most people is what? Chasing what? Capital growth. That is waiting for something to do what? To go up in the future. Who follows what I just said? Who sees the problem with that? See, the way I look at investing is this. Capital growth should only comprise 30% of your investments. So when you're investing, 30% of your investments, you should be chasing capital growth. 70% should be what? Cash flow. Does that make sense? Let me prove this to you right now. The reason being is this. If all your investments are capital growth laced, in other words, you have to wait and ride these different cycles of the economy, hoping and wishing the property does what? Goes up. But if 70% of your focus is on cash flow generating strategies, it means between 12 and 6, will there be opportunities in the marketplace? Raise your hands. Folks, where is the love in the room, yes? Will there be opportunities that you can exploit to make money? Yes or yes?
Yes.
But most people are what? Just capital growth. And you can see why too many Australians are what? Asset rich, cash flow poor, they're unemployed, they've got 2 negative gear properties, they've got 2 kids in school, the wife's not working or whatever, and you can start to see the dilemma that most of the Australian adult population experience on a daily basis over here. So my point is this, you need more cash flow. Now have a look at this. Residential property, what is the average net yield for residential property as a landlord? What is it? In Australia, the average is what? 5% net. 5% net in Australia, okay? That is after all the outgoings, and that's assuming you have 100% occupancy, okay? Car park spaces. Anybody heard of car park spaces? I was buying car park spaces back in the early 1990s when you could buy car park spaces for $15,000. My car park spaces generate me $200 a month. Who likes that? It cost me 15 grand. What's the maintenance? Nothing. It's concrete. Passive. Cash flow, yes? Have a look at this. Now they're selling car park spaces. This is from the Sydney Morning Herald. How much for? 57 grand. And on top of that, what's the return? 6.5%. And you're probably thinking, that's actually better than property. But hold on here. How much are you paying now? I was paying 15 grand once upon a time. Anybody heard of marina berths? A marina berth is where you basically park your boat or your yacht, yes? I was in the Whitsundays doing some signing the last couple of days. Right now, they're selling marina berths for about $500,000. And the return is what? 9%. But the occupancy is about 65% overall for the year. Who follows? Superannuation. What did yours do? How's that working out?
1%.
Okay, whatever it is, right? I mean, look, the reality is this. We're paying somebody else the privilege, that same individual who wears a suit and tie to go to work, to potentially lose us money. Who follows? And to charge us fees along the way, yes? So I leave that conclusion up to yourselves. Personally, my question is this. Who is the most qualified person in the world? Who is the most unique individual in the world? Who is it? It's you. Look, I love property, but property is one of 14 strategies that I incorporate. Who follows? Most Australians have one strategy. And you know what? It's all capital growth. They're chasing the capital growth. And they've got one single source of income. Who sees a problem? That's why Australians go out there, seminar after seminar after seminar. I'll tell you right now, I am anti-seminars. I'm all about education because this presentation is all about teaching you the right pillars. Check this out over here. I have something called a cash flow diary, okay? It's a cash flow diary. This from May of last year to May of this year, May 2012 to May 2013, our diary did 38.26%. Who follows? Now let me tell you right now, if there was a residential property in Melbourne that returned 38.26%, who would buy it? Raise your hands. Here it is. Now, that's no guarantee of future performance, but it's just an indication of the strategy I'm about to impart and share with you right now. Because for me, the numbers have to stack up. The strategy has to stack up, and it's got to meet my criteria of the what? The growth matrix. Who follows? Yes? Remember the growth matrix? Now, the education is called share law. Say share law, folks. Share law. Okay, so what we're doing is this. If I gave you an option, what would you rather be? Would you rather be the casino, or would you rather be the gambler in the casino? Who says casino? Raise your hands. Okay, why is that? Because you know the casino what? The casino stacks the odds in their what? True or true, yes? So the casino stacks the odds in their favour. Now my question is this. If you're speculating, if you're gambling, individuals are simply buy property, they're gambling cheap because they have no idea what that property will be in the future, yes? If you're out there and you're speculating on Forex or CFDs, is that investing or is that hoping for the best? Who sees where I'm going with this? Yes or yes? I'm talking about what? Knowing your ROI up front. Now here's the thing. Make the money here, then go over here to do the more speculative strategies. Who agrees with me now? It's more common sense. Now listen carefully over here. What we do is this. I am the casino of the stock market. I don't want to be anybody else but the casino. Why? Because the house always what? The house always wins. Let me prove something to you right now. Has anybody been to Las Vegas? Raise your hands. Let me repeat. Has anybody been to Las Wages? We've been there, right? What do casinos do? They take your money. But how do they do it? They stack the odds in their what? Their favour. True? Now look. By the way, how do casinos make money? Let me talk. No, I'll tell you right now. Did you know in Las Vegas? Now, I live 2.5 hours from Vegas, okay? In my car that I drive. It normally takes 5 hours to get there. But when you travel 1 o'clock in the morning in the desert, you can do whatever you want. Who follows what I just said, right? Now, in Las Vegas, the casinos oxygenate the gaming floor. What does that mean? They pump oxygen into the gaming floor. Why? To keep you awake longer. Because the longer you're awake, the more you gamble. The more you gamble, the more what? The more you lose. Next, in Las Vegas, it's free alcohol. Because they loosen you up. Who follows, yeah? Indiscriminate. Yeah, whatever. Bang, yes. On top of that, there are no windows. So you have no relevance to what? Time. There's no daytime because it's all what? Blocked off. In fact, the ceiling is you have painted clouds to give you that sense of what? Daytime. Because when you think of daytime, you're thinking, yeah, let's hang out here. When you see nighttime, I must go home. True? On top of that, in casinos, there's no clocks. Also in casinos, this will blow your mind. The carpet has been specifically designed to disorientate your sensory acuity. What does that mean? In other words, it's designed to disorientate and create a scatterbrain element of you. Who follows? Add some alcohol, some oxygen into it, lots of sounds and noise and vision. Who follows? It's a business. So what they're doing is this. They are stacking the odds in their favour. So when I invest, what do you think I do? I stack the odds in my favour. So what I want to teach you is this, how to operate on this side of the fence. This side over here is all speculation and gambling. This is all speculation and gambling. This is where you want to be. What you do now is this. You make your money here, and if you want to go and gamble, fine. But use this money, not your income. Folks, are you finding this helpful today? Yes. You never use your income. Remember, if you want to speculate and gamble on the high yield, high risky strategies, make sure you use this money here. In what? The growth part of the wealth matrix. Now, this particular strategy is all what? Growth. This strategy is all about what? Cash. This strategy, our cash flow diary, in the last 12 months has done 38.26% on our recommendation service that we email or text to you every weekday. Now, listen carefully here. This is all cash flow, this strategy. And it comprises the stock market, not as you know it. Because when you think of stock market, what do you think of? You think of what? Traders, yes? Write this down. The majority of stock market traders lose money. Why? Because trading is what? It's speculation. Because when you're speculating, what are you doing? You're hoping and wishing on an outcome completely outside of your control. Who follows? See, what I do is this. I reverse engineer the financial markets, and I am the casino. What I'm about to teach you right now is how to become the casino too. Now listen to this. It's the 5% of us that create the marketplace for the 95% who want to what? Speculate and gamble. So never ever again do I ever want to see you speculate and gamble. Why? All the parents, you're better than this. You've got kids. Make your life count. Make their lives count. Because if you rely on academia, academia is going to spit out a liability for you, with all due respect. Be savvy and sophisticated. And Jamie McIntyre will tell you the exact same thing here. Okay, once again, what we're doing in the growth component of the wealth matrix, we want to embed strategies that are what? Cash flow laced. Why? Because 70% of your strategy should be what? Cash, yes? So you can take advantage of the weakness in the marketplace so you can buy properties wholesale and buy businesses when they're drowning in debt. Who follows? Okay? Now, I'm going to use terminology here. When I'm referring to renting your shares, all I'm talking about is creating option contracts and renting them out to what? Tenants or option traders, okay? When I'm talking about insurance, I'm referring to protecting yourself via capital protection strategies over here. So I use a lot of terminology laced with property. Why? Because that way we can relate to it, because I love property. Now, property is not my cash flow investment. Property is what? Capital growth, okay? Every strategy I decide, is that capital growth or is that cash flow? But 70% must be cash flow, 30% must be capital growth, okay? Now, 10 powerful reasons. First up, this strategy is not about trading. Trading is speculation and gambling. That's the TAB mentality. That's the Melbourne Cup mentality, okay? I'm telling you how to create, reverse engineer the financial markets and be what? Be the casino. All my casinos, raise your hands. Oh, where's the love for the casino? Anita, how are you? So stock market traders, statistically, historically proven, do what? They tend to lose money. Why? Because it's just the nature of what? Gambling. Speculation. Do you think individuals walk into a casino know exactly how much money they're going to win? They're hoping and they're what? Wishing. Now here's a bit of a clue. If you ever outlay money and you use the words hope and wish, that's called speculation. Who follows what I just said? How many individuals hope and wish on an outcome? 95% of Australians. The poorest people in the world hope and wish. Listen to that one more time. The poorest people on the planet are the ones who hope and wish. See, I want to teach you what? Certainty. When you have certainty, you have a better way of what? Budgeting your life. Who agrees on that, by the way? When you can budget your life and you've got a degree of what? Greater certainty, then use the money generated here to go and be crazy and insane. Who follows? But you never use your income to go insane. The number one secret to riches is this: sell pans during the gold rush. Let me give you an example, folks. You know what speculators and gamblers do? Think back 200 years ago, prospectors. What do you think they did? Up to their knees in mud in the riverbed with a pan, prospecting with the hope of what? Finding gold. Who are the smart ones on the gold fields? The individual prospecting with the hope, or the individuals on the other side of the riverbed selling the pans and the picks and the shovels and the equipment to the prospectors. Who sees where I'm going with this? So business 101 is this, folks. Find the gold rush and do what? Sell pans to the gold rush. Who likes that? Listen carefully, folks. Listen to what I just said. Never be in the gold rush. Acknowledge where the gold rush is and do what? Service the gold rush. I'll give you a case in point here. Las Vegas. There are 48 casinos in Las Vegas that service up to 29 million gambling tourists every year. Who sees the business? What are they doing? They are servicing what? Stupidity. And by the way, more people gamble in times of recession. Does that make sense? Why? Because they're more desperate for cash. And they're using what? Their after-tax income. So they can service their mortgages and their credit cards and their personal loans. And they've got kids waiting at home who have not been fed for 2 days. And you can start to understand what speculation and gambling is and why I'm almost like, this is my I'm an activist for creating that proper growth type strategies over here. So number one, secret to reach a sell pants during a gold rush over here. Powerful reason for becoming a shareholder over here is this. We create the marketplace. For whom? Speculators. Here's the thing. There will always be speculators and gamblers because one generation of gamblers and speculators, guess what? Will pass on a baton of speculation to the next generation and onwards and onwards. Nothing will change. Nothing will change. What we are doing is providing a marketplace for those who choose to speculate and gamble. But I don't want you to be here. I want you to be where? On this side of the fence, okay? So we become the casino over here. Now, let's continue here. Who's the market for us? Has anybody heard of option traders? Yep, option traders. Well, option traders are individuals who buy option contracts. They don't want to purchase shares. What they want to do is they want to purchase option contracts with the hope of on selling these option contracts in the future with the hope of making some money. Who follows? And here's the thing. There's millions and there's millions and there's millions of option traders in the world. So what do you think we do? We find out where they are, what they want, and we give it to them. Who follows what I just said? What does a landlord do? A landlord knows where the rental market is, what they want, and what does a landlord do? Gives it to them, yes? So just like a landlord can rent out property to what? Tenants. We do the same thing. In the stock market, there are tenants. So as a share lord, the same education that I've created over a decade ago, one of the fastest selling stock market educations right now in all of Australasia. And you know what? I created it, and it's a Melbourne-made product. Anybody heard of Robert Kiyosaki? Raise your hands. I'm the exclusive teacher for Robert Kiyosaki's worldwide clients for this particular education. A Melbourne-made product. Pretty awesome, right? Yeah. Absolutely. So our tenants are the option traders. They're insane. Don't get me started on them. But you know what? The world needs insanity on that side, yes? Just like casinos need insanity. So all I do is this. I service the option traders, okay? Now, let's continue over here. Number 3, as a share lord, we open with a profit. Think of this. We open with a profit on each transaction over here. Number 4, we acquire our shares what? Wholesale. Because utilizing this particular strategy, it allows us to what? Purchase shares at a more discounted price. Most Australians do what? They buy shares, hope and pray. Has anybody heard of BHP? Buy, hold and pray? Yep, it's an acronym. And what do? They're hoping on an outcome outside of their control over here. So we acquire shares wholesale over here. Most Australians do what? They buy the shares retail. Write this down. There is no money in what? Buying retail over here. Number 5, we rent out our shares by becoming a what? A share lord. And we can potentially generate between 3 and 9%. Okay? Right now, the market's probably around 3 to 7%. And what we normally find is the average returns could be, on any given weekday, could be 4 or 5%. I'll explain exactly how that works. Now, why is it that? Because when an option trader purchases an option contract, folks, listen carefully here. When an option trader buys an option contract, they have to physically outlay money to purchase that option contract. Now, that option contract, there is a price to purchase that option contract. Now, they pay money to who? They pay money to the share lords, because as a share lord, just like a landlord, what do you think we do? We buy shares and we do what? We sell the options to the shares. In other words, we are renting out our shares to the option traders. They buy the option contract and they pay what? They pay us money. Here it is. They pay us between 3 to 9% of the value of our what? Of our share portfolio. Who follows what I just said? Now listen carefully here. We do not use the Australian market. There is no money on the Australian stock market. There is no what? Liquidity, because Australia and New Zealand is less than 2% of the world financial markets. So which market do we use? We use them because the US market is over 85% of the world's market capitalization. Who follows? Next, when we're purchasing shares, all we need to own to become a share lord is this. For example, for a property owner to become a landlord, what do you need to do? Buy a property and what? Rent it out. Who follows? Yes? All you need to know is this. You need to own a minimum of 100 shares. How many shares? 100. 100 shares equals 1 contract. Write that down. So 100 shares equals 1 contract. Okay? one contract. The option trader will pay us between 3 to 9% of the value of our share portfolio over here. Number 6, we can still rent out our shares irrespective of stock market direction. In other words, we are what? We are recession-proof. We are recession-proof over here. All we want to do is what? Generate an income. Okay? Number 7 over here. We get paid up front day one. In other words, most Australians do this. They physically outlay money with the hope of making money sometime in the future. What we know is this. We know exactly where the traders are, the option traders. We know exactly how much they're paying us. And one of our biggest secrets is this. We also know when they're about to overpay on a contract. Who thinks that's good to know? Because when they overpay, they're the contracts that we create for them. Let me repeat. They're the contracts that we create for them. And sometimes they can pay us 9 to 10% on the value of our share portfolio for that day. Who follows what I just said? That's pretty powerful. Okay, let's continue over here. Number 8. Would you buy a house without insurance? There are 7.4 million Australians. There are 7.4 million Australians with exposure to the stock market. Who follows? And the vast majority have no form of capital protection or any form of insurance to cover any potential downside risk. In America, 146 million Americans have exposure to the stock market, and the vast majority have no what? Capital protection. In other words, when the market's in decline, they lose. Who has superannuation? Raise your hands. Where is superannuation primarily invested in? The financial markets. Interesting, isn't it? Folks, you can buy insurance, another way of capital protection. Now have a look at this. Let me give you an example over here. And I'll be taking questions at the very end, at the back of the room over here. Let's say we purchase some shares for $18.33. We can do this. We can buy capital protection, for example, over here. Let's say we purchase an insurance policy at $17.50. Now, as a share lord, what can we do? We can do what? We can buy the shares and rent out these shares to generate what? An income, yes? Now, have a look at this. Let's say we bought some shares, we rented it out, and we generated, let's say, $2 per share. How many shares in a contract? 100, okay? So let's say we receive $2 per share. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to show you right now how to purchase an insurance policy with none of your own money. Anybody interested? Yes? Is that of any interest? Check this out. Let's say we receive $2 per share. How many shares in a contract? Now have a look at this. Now, we're now going to buy what? An insurance policy and insure our what? Each individual share. Let's say the insurance policy per share cost us 94 cents. But how much money are we generating by renting out the shares in the first place? $2. This is what we do. Listen carefully here. We are utilizing a small portion of the rental income to buy what? The insurance policy. Who follows? Whose money did you use? None of your own. Now have a look at this. If these shares went down, how much did you buy the shares for? Work with me, folks. Work with me. $18.33. And let's say they drop down to $1. Okay? You can sell your shares for how much? $17.50. Because what you did was, when you bought that capital protection insurance policy, if you want to call it, you bought the guaranteed right to sell your shares for what price? $17.50. Whose money did you use to buy the insurance policy? None of your own, because you used a small portion of the what? The rental income to buy the insurance policy, which means you still have $1.06 left. Who sees that? Folks, are you with me now, yes? The majority of Australians have no form of capital protection. They're buying the shares retail, and instead of renting them out, they've got a share portfolio they just keep vacant. It's kind of like me telling you this. Imagine all of you had 30, 40 properties each, and you never, ever, ever rented them out. All because you never knew a strategy called being a landlord existed. Who sees my point? Folks, this has been around for 40 years, this strategy. It ain't going anywhere. Statistically and historically proven, it has the potential to pay off between 3 to 9% on a monthly basis. There's no guarantee for future performance, but just going off statistics and what have you, it's a pretty powerful strategy. That's why I call it the most powerful cash flow strategy on the planet, because it allows you to what? Minimize your risk. Number 9 over here, 3 to 5 minutes per day, 30 to 60 minutes on a monthly basis. And number 10, who loves property? Raise your hands. You want to see a really powerful formula? Check this out. I love property, folks. I love property. Now have a look at this. You're going to love this. You ready for it? I'm about to draw you something here. Now, what is this? It's a badly drawn house, yes? But can we turn that badly drawn house, and can we access equity to borrow what? To borrow money from the banks, yes? Have a look at this. An LOC, a line of credit, for example, over here. How much is the bank charging us for a line of credit right now? Folks, work with me here. How much? What's the average? Can I work? Give me worst case scenario. Give me 7%, yes? So 7% worst case scenario, okay? So what we're doing is this. We have clients that have cash, and they utilize that cash to buy a specific parcel of shares on our recommendation. Mind you, they will already know the formula how to do this for themselves, but on top of that, we assist them on top of that. Now here's the thing, we have other clients who have an existing share portfolio that kept vacant, and then we show them how to do what? How to rent it out. Who follows? So they've gone from a vacant share portfolio to now making money. Who likes that? On top of that, we've got other clients who have property, and they utilize the equity to do what? To access a line of credit. They use a line of credit to do what? To access cash, to buy what? Shares, to become a what? A share lord, so they can generate between 3 to 9% per month. But what are you paying here for the interest on the loan? Per annum. That's the interest. Now, folks, raise your hands with enthusiasm and euphoria. Who sees an opportunity? Where's the love for the word opportunity? Sounds like you're trying to convince me now, right? Listen carefully here. Can you do this now? Folks, this is worth $1 million, I'm telling you right now. Listen carefully here. Can you do this now? Back into what? Back into property. By the way, with property, better to buy an existing property, dilapidate and do what? Renovate it, manipulate the equity. Who follows? Day one. And then do what? Siphon the equity, larger access to more cash to buy more shares. Who follows? To be far more greedier now. Who follows what I just said? Have a look at this. Buy more property over here. More line of credit means access to more cash. More cash equals more what? More shares. More shares means more what? Now have a look at this. Let's say let's say you're just generating 3% a month, okay? What is that annualized? 36%. What is the cost of the borrowings? Who sees the opportunity? Listen carefully here. Let me continue here. Financial cancer will guarantee you that. Check this video out.
Discover how to catapult your personal fortune using the most powerful cash flow strategy on the planet. Welcome to ShareLord, one of the most highly respected stock market educations in the world. ShareLord provides a unique opportunity to seriously accelerate your true financial destiny and blueprint. The ShareLord system of wealth generation allows a stock market investor to acquire shares at a wholesale rate, not retail. The ShareLord system gives you the right to create the market as opposed to trading it. With ShareLord, you can rent out your shares to generate a monthly cash flow rental of between 3% to 9% per month. With ShareLord, you can insure your shares using none of your own money. Just like a landlord who rents out property to a tenant, a ShareLord can also rent out their shares to other stock market participants. To use an analogy, on the gold fields where gold was first being prospected, who really made the money? Was it the prospector who was speculating on the riverbed, hoping to strike it rich with the hope of making money, working hours and hours? Or was it the astute individual who sold the pans, picks, and shovels to all the prospectors? Obviously, the individuals selling the pans and shovels created the marketplace for prospectors to speculate, and they got paid every time. In the real world of investing, 95% of speculative investors will trade and gamble on the stock market, and the other 5% of educated investors will create the market. As ShareLords, we generate cash flow upfront to create a marketplace for speculators to trade. The ShareLord system requires no more than 60 minutes per month. It has the potential to be one of the safest, most lucrative cash flow strategies in paying off a home mortgage, dismantling credit card or personal loan debt. With ShareLord, it's as simple as point, click, and profit. ShareLord also works in harmony with property investing because it provides the cash flow fuel source to acquire more properties. The ShareLord stock market strategy incorporates all the features and benefits of a true dream business. No staff or customers, no age requirements, low risk, no physical labor, invest anywhere on the globe, minimal startup capital, and no complex, difficult to understand jargon. Welcome to the most powerful cash flow strategy on the planet.
Okay, let's get started over here. Now I'm going to show you something over here. We've shared a lot over here. So know all the features and benefits of a true dream business. You can be anywhere in the world. You can do what? You can monitor, you can transact anywhere worldwide. Who's got one of these devices? Yes? Who's got an iPad? Who's got a laptop? You can be anywhere in the world. That paycation model, yes? In other words, you're traveling and you're still generating what? Money over here, okay? Let's continue over here. Time totally flexible, recession and depression proof. Why? Because speculators exist whether the market's going up, down, or sideways. Who follows? What do you do? Business 101. We find out who they are and do what? We service them. Who would like to service speculators and gamblers as an extra additional pillar of income stream? Who follows? Yes? That's what I want to do over here. Something you must educate your children. Who's got kids? Raise your hands. Teach them. Who does not have any kids? Find one, will you? I'm going to hold you accountable. 5 kids the next 4 years, right? How old are you, 14? Okay, I'm just joking. Okay. Anybody heard of a 401k? What's a 401k? It's an American what? Okay, here's the thing. This particular strategy, I gave it the name ShareLord because it's probably the best way to describe it without all the analytical, wearing a suit and tie type crap language. Who follows what I just said? Yes? Now, the only strategy you can do in a 401k, listen carefully, the only one allowed by the US government that you can do in a 401k is under the banner of options is this strategy. What does that tell you? Quick, what does it tell you?
Pretty damn safe.
Well, you're minimizing your risk and it gives you what? Bang for your bucks. Who follows? Because when you're servicing speculation, it's recession proof. That's why casinos can open up and spend $1 billion building it up because in 3 years, it's been paid off. Who follows what I just said? Those who speculate and gamble, the vast majority, they lose. It's fact. It's life. Now, who has 5 minutes per day over here, yes? Okay, wonderful. Now, one thing I want to share with you is this. We can generate between what? Between 3 and? 9. Per? Now, help me out here. In Melbourne, how many months in a year do you have here? In Melbourne, how many months in a year do you have? You have 12 here too? Cool. So potentially you can do this how many times? 12 times, yes? Now, I want to show you something here, okay? Check this out. As we know, this is all cash flow, and we incorporate this in what? The growth part of the wealth matrix, okay? Now, I want to show you something here. This is called our diary. The ShareLord diary comes out every day, okay? Now, every day you'll get a recommendation. The stock, the criteria is based on this. Every recommendation pays between 3 to 9%. Who follows what I just said? If it doesn't pay between 3 to 9%, it's not a recommendation. Who likes that one already? Now, listen carefully here. Not only that, we scan the market in real time, and we'll also give you the best option to buy the best what? Capital protection insurance policy to what? To cover any potential downside risk. Who follows what I just said? And all you need to do is what? Simply transact. You transact like this. You buy the stock, you rent it out, you become a ShareLord, and what do? Next, you buy the insurance policy. How many steps? 3 steps. You buy the stock. 2, you rent it out. In other words, selling the options to the share. And number 3, what do? You buy the? Okay, that's 3 steps. Now, you can do that all. You can do all those 3 steps with one click of one mouse button. Write this down. It's called a collar transaction. Collar stands for C-O-L-L-A-R. It means you can buy, rent it out, and buy an insurance policy all at the exact same time. A collar transaction. Who likes that? Yes? Yeah. Okay, let's continue here. Now I'm going to show you the diary over here, the cash flow diary over here. This is pretty awesome. You're going to love this now. Have a look at this now. Now, can I get a volunteer to the stage? A volunteer? Somebody really... Okay, you're up here. Here's your bar stool. You ready? Actually, you know what? You're going to sit over here. Now, whatever I point to, I want you to shout it out. Cool? You got a nice loud voice?
Yes.
Are you nice and quick?
Yeah.
Okay, sit down. That was so slow, man. Come on. What's your name?
Max.
Max, how are you, Max?
Terrific, thank you.
You're the first Max I've met the last minute. Okay, Max. Here's a stock over here. I'm going to start on the 15th of May. Folks, write this down. May 15, write it down. It's a really important day. Write it down. Write this date down. I'll tell you why. Let me know when you've written it down. Who's written it down? Okay. It's my birthday. Okay, Max, back to you now. Oh, serious too. Okay, thank you. Okay, Max, over here. Now, whatever I point to, whatever is highlighted, I want you to shout it out. 15th of May over here. Max, I've got a pointer over here. It's called digital LED over here. I love your enthusiasm, man. Okay, Max, what percentage over here? Max, what does it say? 8.75. Okay. Max, sit down so they can all see.
Yep.
Okay, 105 over here. What's the date over here, Max? 8th of June, right?
5.69.
5.69 over here. Okay, let's continue over here. 30th of July over here, yes?
8.71%.
Okay, Max, what does it say over here?
96.45%.
Folks, have a look at this. This is the diary. This is what we deliver to your inbox and on your phone every day. Have a look at this. Now I'm going to go back here. Max, work with me over here. What's the share price out? $32.14. How much is the rent you receive?
$2.80.
$2.80 over here. How much is the insurance per share?
$1.30.
So we're buying the share for how much? Folks, work with me. $32.14. The rent is how much?
$2.80.
The insurance per share is how much?
$1.87.
Now have a look at this. We're insuring it for what price?
$31.
So we're buying it for $32.14. We're insuring it for $31. We're taking in $2.80. We're spending $1.37 on insurance. Who sees opportunity here? And the overall insurance protection is what, Max?
96.45%.
Wow, Max, thank you. Folks, listen carefully here. That was planned. And it was a test and you passed. 96.45%. In other words, before you've even outlaid any money, you know your total risk will be no more than 3.55%. Who loves that? Give me 2 hands now. Up front. Have you outlaid any money? No. So you know the exact rent, what the total risk is going to be before you even outlaid any money. That is what? Investing. Now, who agrees with me now? Yes? As opposed to outlaying money with the what? The hype and wish over here. Max, let's continue over here. Let's get crazy, buddy. Come on. Max, up there, 9th of July, yes?
Yep.
What's the rent?
$14.45.
14.45%, yes?
Yep.
What's the total protection over here?
$62.70.
Max, what's the protection over here?
Sorry, $99.27%.
Max, are you an accountant? You need a hug, Max. Come here. Okay, if that doesn't work, I have no idea what's going to work now. Okay, Max, let's continue over here. 40.45 over here. 10th of August over here, how much? Max, go for it. Rock and roll. I missed all that. Go on. 11th of September over here. 7.48%. Continue, Max.
7.33%.
Okay, continue over here. 30th of November 2012 over here. 4.87. I'm faster now. 3rd of December over here. Max!
5.49%.
Okay, sounds like you're trying to convince me now, Max. 10th of January.
10.51%.
20th of February, Max.
4.42%.
21st of March, Max.
4.15%.
2nd of April.
10%.
Perhaps he needs a microphone too, Max. We can give you a speaking slot tonight at midnight if you like. Okay, Max, 27th of May. That sounded like Nepalese there. Okay. Okay, Max over here. Next one. 10th of June. 6th of August, Max. 24th September, Max. 3rd of October over here. A few days ago, Max. What was it? Have a guess. If you get this, I will give you $1,000. How much?
4.89%.
4.89%.
4.89%. I don't know.
Why did you raise your voice? Who's holding you down there? Do I have $1,000 on fucking? 4.13. By the way, folks, that was just a few days ago. Every recommendation pays between what, 3 and 9%. Listen carefully. Max, you've been awesome, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Round of applause for Max. Where's the love for Max? Okay, I want to show you something over here. Hedge funds in the last 12 months, they returned, according to the Hennessy Hedge Fund Index, they returned 4.07%. Who follows what I just said? Okay, our diary, have a look at this. Our diary, we report to our clients on a monthly basis. May 23rd, we received a report from May 2012 to May 2013. Have a look at this. Everything was documented over here. Here's the date over here, everything over here. We outperformed Wall Street by 25.68%. 95% of our positions were in profit, and the ROI was 38.26% for the year. Thank you very much. A Melbourne-made education. That equates to 3.2% per month. What does property give you? Rental yield? Average in Australia? 5% for the year. Remember, this is the cash flow to fuel and buy more property. Now, who likes that as a strategy? Who's got negative gear properties? Use this strategy to do what? Turn it into what? Positive cash flow. Who's got a partner that's working and you want them to raise your kids, yes? So they can be there for the very first time to videotape when their child makes his first walk in the world. Who follows what I just said? You make your life count. All the parents in the room, be accountable to this, okay? Now I'm going to show you something here. Live statistics as of September 22nd. This is only about 7 weeks ago. This is what we're traveling at right now. The diary, 3.7% per month. And right now, we're on target to be an annualized of 44% by this time next year. Who thinks that's pretty crazy right now? Yes. Where's the love for statistics here? Yes. Where's the love for the PowerPoint slide? And folks, there's the email. 2013, and look at all the figures here. We're 3 point, and look at this. Look very carefully here. September, there were 16 positions, 100% profit. August, there were 7 positions, 100% profit. July, there were 12 positions, 100% profit. In June, there were 5 positions over here, 4 loss over here. Sorry, profit was 5, 4 over here was a loss over here. And look at this one, the total, 97.5 strike rate on this strategy by simply being a casino, not being the trade over here. And you tell me what makes sense. Knowing up front or hoping and wishing for an outcome completely outside of your control. And you know what? That outcome is guaranteed outside of your control. Fact. Now, that is not me. I do see the likeness at times. Yes, I do. Okay, once again, the 5-point criteria. Remember that? Yes? Wonderful over here. Outcomes, either up, down, or sideways. If the market goes down, what do we have in place? Remember, our insurance policies, we purchase them anywhere between 90 to 99% coverage. Who follows? And better to have coverage than have no coverage, because the majority of Australians have zero coverage. We call this what? Seatbelt investing. Imagine you were driving and you never wore a seatbelt. Who follows what I just said? When you wear a seatbelt, what are you doing? You're minimizing risk. We're minimizing risk. Why? Because stocks have accidents too. They can crash. There's never been a crash. There's only been corrections. Because a crash means you're dead. Who follows? When you have correction, it means you're back up again, okay? Have a look at this, folks. You want to see power? Check this out. If you started with $10,000, and let's say you were generating 5% per month. Okay. I'm getting better, aren't I? Yeah. High five. Okay. Listen carefully here. If you started with $10,000 at 5% a month over here, 5% a month compounding, that means you kept on reinvesting and reinvesting and reinvesting it, yes? If you started with $10,000 after 10 years, what do you think that'll be worth? Compound. $3.4 million. That's assuming what? A couple of things. You started with $10,000, you kept on reinvesting it every month, and you're generating what? 5% every month, yes? Now, our diary is not doing 5%, is it? Our diary is not doing 4%, but is our diary right now doing 3.7%? Who follows what I just said? Even at 3% after 10 years, that's $1.8 million. 4% is $2.5 million over 10 years. Who follows what I just said? Say yes.
Yes.
Hi, my name's John Bellinger, and thanks to the ShareLord system, my wife and I have made 50% on our money in the last 12 months.
Hi, I'm Jo. I've been paper trading ShareLord for a few months now, and I'm really excited about starting live trading.
I'm Kevin Cater, and when I first learned of ShareLord, I was actually graduating college.
Hi, my name is David Clarkson, and this is my 7-year young son, Jaden Clarkson. Together we are doing ShareLord.
Hi, I'm Frances. I'm a nurse. I work full-time night duty and I've been doing ShareLord for about 2 years now.
Hi, I'm Jamie. I've been doing ShareLord for about 8 months now. I paper traded for 2 months and then I've been live for probably about 6.
My name is Olive Wallace. I am 81 years of age. I've been with ShareLord about 4 years. I've found them to be absolutely fantastic.
Hi, I'm Leo Organs from Israel. I'm 25 years old and I'm very excited to share with you my experience with ShareLord.
Hi, my name's Pam Dean. I've been a ShareLord student now for a number of years, for about 3 years.
Hi, I'm Kobe. I've been doing the ShareLord program for about a year now.
The ShareLord training was simple. I've been in the real estate market for the last 14 years and I was looking for something to kind of replace my income, kind of help me out a little bit.
Up until this point, I was surviving off of student loans as well as support of my family. And luckily I came across ShareLord.
Such a simple strategy, so easy to use.
So pretty much I'd been working, paycheck to paycheck, just barely scraping by, trying to pay the bills. And I was looking for something to supplement my income.
I make about $3,000 a month.
I made returns of 33% of my money.
We get between 3 and 9% per month. And now Jaden, who is 7, is teaching his 5-year-old little brother Bryce how to do the share renting.
I make about 4 to 8% a month.
I'm getting 3 to 5% on most of my trades. Sometimes I come up with an awesome trade and get around 7 to 8%, but generally 5% is pretty easy to get, no problem.
The upfront returns on a monthly basis is what ShareLord really is all about. And by this I mean once you place your trade, you receive that premium into your bank account right then and there.
If you put your money in the bank, your interest rate is on a yearly average. With ShareLord, it's on a daily or monthly average.
Folks, I'm not here to convince you. This speaks for itself. It's all about what? Doing the right thing, something that makes sense, and you just do it. You take massive action. I'll tell you something right now. If you procrastinate, you fertilize more fear. You never get around to it. It's the law of diminishing content. If you're going to do something, you just do it. You empower yourself and you make a difference. And I say to individuals, it takes 1 or 2 good years to make up for 10 lousy economic years. Who follows what I just said? The name of the game is this: get smart. Be the casino, do not be the trader or the speculator. Use this and embed. Now this strategy doesn't replace anything else. What you do is you embed other strategies in your growth part of the wealth matrix. Then the money generated here is what you use for the more aggressive stuff. Remember, then you use that to basically fuel and fund and service your lifestyle. In a show of hands, who could actually utilize these particular strategies right now in your life? Raise your hands. This is yes, this is no, and this is I'm paralyzed from the neck down. Folks, make a difference, okay? You just do it over here. Now, I'm not going to go through all these. You get my point over here. I can show you these all day if you want. Now, no complex maths or difficult to understand jargon. You can start with as little as $2,000. We've had clients who've started with over $1 million. What you want to start with, I leave that entirely up to you and a lot of your own financial circumstances, It's like anything in life. If this resonates well with you, which I know it does, you just do it. You just do it irrespective over here. Now, I want to show you something here. I've got some sponsorship certificates, and can I give this to you right now, please? Victoria, come up here now, please. Folks, there's only a few of these, and these will be available at the back. When I say start going down the back, you need one of these, and this will give you, I'll tell you when. Get ready for this, folks, because we're only going to join a few individuals over here. Now, listen carefully. And I suggest, if you want to start going to the back, go down right now before I mention all this, because you'll miss it otherwise. Victoria, please do not... Okay. Okay, for those who've got a certificate, stay down the back. Only if you stay at the back. Otherwise, I'll avoid it. Stay at the back, please. Now, here it is, folks. This is what you'll get with the education right now. Stop, please, handing them out. We might do a second opportunity, but for those who got it right now, as for the first... Now listen carefully, folks. What we have is this. It's the entire education, all the DVDs. I'll also give you an iPod player, all the audios, all the education. That is basically it over here. Next, we have this. Everything is online. So every time we upload new content, new videos, who will like my economic predictions for the next 10, 20, 30 years of your life? Raise your hands. As a client, you get that all complimentary. Folks, that is worth $1 million. Start going to the back right now. See Victoria over here. You'll get that online membership on top of that, okay? We've got the physical home study and the online membership over here. That's lifetime membership over here. All the content, all the videos and what have you. Now, we have the diary. The diary comes out each what? Each weekday over here. Each day, should I say. This diary gets text to you, email to you over here. And from your phone or from your iPad or from your laptop computer, you can do what? You can transact. Who follows? Yes? See Victoria, folks. We're only going to offer this for like 25, 30 individuals only. See Victoria. This certificate will give you $5,000 off. See Victoria right now, folks. Get started over here. Go down the back. Now check this out, folks. On top of this, those coming on board, folks, do not sit down. It's void. If you want a certificate, you stay at the back and you start seeing the people in the back. Check this out. What we've got is this. I'm also going to provide a mentor. Who would like an accountability coach? Raise your hand if you want an accountability coach. An accountability coach is someone's going to hold you what? Accountable. Accountable, number one, you what? Get started, you take massive action, then you start to make money, and then you're successful. Who would like an accountability coach? Folks, that accountability coach is myself and my team. Raise your hands, yes? Go down the back right now. Get a certificate over here. You're going to want one right now. That's the mentoring over here. Next, we got this. We found a mentor. Your very best thinking has got you exactly where you are today. Okay, so make it count. Now, for the first 25 individuals at the back right now, signing the forms, this is what I'll additionally give you, okay? These additional offers are not available anywhere online or anywhere else. It's here exclusively for the 21st century event, courtesy of Jamie McIntyre, okay? Listen carefully. If you're at the back, you're going to miss these bonuses now. Have a look at this. Number one, not only are we going to teach you how to do the monthly options, how to be a casino on a monthly basis, we're going to show you how to do it on a weekly basis, because the weekly contracts, the weekly options are by far the most lucrative. Check this out. There are individuals who are buying weekly contracts now, traders, speculators, and you can make money up to 3 or 4% just for 4 days. Who follows what I just said? Listen carefully. Have a look at this. Here's one. On the 30th of November over here, can you see where it says weekly? It paid 9%. 4 days, folks, 9%, yes? Have a look at this one over here. April 10th over here, 2013, weekly was paying 2.78. Who would like a 2.78% return on their money for 4 days? Why is it 4 days? Because you don't count the weekends. Who follows what I just said? Comes down to what? On the Monday, expires on the Friday over here. Folks, these are hot over here. Now check this out. Number two, you'll also get this physical home study. It's called the what? The Science of Investing for Profit. They're normally retails for $1,100. These bonus, those coming on board right now, start filling your forms. You'll get that complimentary over here. Number three bonus over here. Who's got a spouse or partner that is not in the room? Raise your hands. We will also educate your spouse and your partner. In other words, we'll give them a username, a password. They can come to our webinars, our workshops, and you know what? We'll also hold them accountable too to succeed. Who likes that? Yes? Folks, who's got a teenager aged between 13 to 17? Raise your hands. Yes. They are complimentary. Go down the back right now. Okay, we're going to link your teenager to you. Go to the team right now, folks. We've got limited spots over here. Number four bonus over here. We've got boot camps. The boot camps are run where? Right across the world. London, Johannesburg, the United States, Canada, New Zealand, Australia over here, folks. Go to the team, get started over here. Get your forms over here. On top of this, number five, we have webinars. We have webinars, folks. Your webinars are lifetime membership. On top of this, the mega bonus. Folks, I need your attention. This is the perfect one. I will also invite you to the Wealth Matrix event. Listen carefully. The Wealth Matrix is where I do what? I show you all the other strategies to include in your what? Your growth component. Who follows what I just said? That is normally a $5,000 product over here. And I expand on the Nick Theory, which is the biggest rave right now on social media circles over here. As you know, it's the whole Shell education plus you get what? This. Here's one of the other strategies you're going to learn at the Wealth Matrix event. This particular strategy pays you 28.2% passive. Who says what I just say? This strategy pays 28.2% and it's 100% cash flow and it's 100% passive. This is the second one that you will learn at the Wealth Matrix event when you come at the back right now and you sign up and you invest. Who follows what I just said? Yes? Every strategy is growth, cash flow, and every strategy I'll tell you right now usually is over 20% returns. Who follows what I just said? See the team right now. We accept another 5 more people over here. 5 more people at the back over here. Now, folks, here it is. That's everything as we go right now. That's Sherlord and the Wealth Matrix over here. Partner is free. Your teenagers are free, okay? Your partner is somebody that you wake up to in the morning and you kiss. Yes? It's not your next door neighbour who's got the same lawnmower as you, okay? It's your partner. We're going to educate them and provide mentoring. Now, here's the fact, folks. Over 25 grand in total value over here. Over 25 grand in total value. Every person coming on board gets a getting started pack over here. Here's the deal, folks. Those are being sponsored at the back, all up, 25 grand with the $5,000 certificate. Go down the back and you get a $5,000 certificate off. I will personally finance $5,000 towards your entire education. And this is it, folks. And these certificates are only valid for the next 15 minutes, okay? Because I need to respect the next speaker who's on after me. Here it is. It's going to be $4,995. The certificates, where are they? Make some noise. Who's got the certificates right now? Okay, we've got about 10 left over here, folks. It's going to be $4,995. Payment in full, or go on a payment plan. Go on a deposit today, followed by 2 monthly installments over here. That is the entire deal, folks. I'm going to be at the back of the room. Each person gets a getting started pack, all the Wealth Matrix education. And you know what, folks? I think I am done. On behalf of myself and Max, folks, I'm Nick Halik. Come and see me at the back of the room right now.